Hello, everyone. Hello, myself. I'm going to I'm gonna spin a few ideas together for people in this video. A few different things I've been pondering on, and I'm gonna try to keep it. I'm going to keep it as concise and on point as I can with the convoluted nature of the things I'm going to be discussing. And it's going to deal with growth, the illusion that it is, cellular reproduction, yourself, myself, who you are, who you see yourself as, what you are, how you became that, or how you determine that, how do you come to that conclusion, goals, and manifesting, which is really what this is going to come down to. So let's start out with you. Who are you? Who are you? How do you know who you are? How did you get that idea of who you are? Because you are not a name. You are not even a person. You are not a body. That is nothing more than an image or a symbol or a sigil or an idea or a marker, a point that you look at or that you look from, really. You look at it so you can look from it, because you have to look at what you think you are, then you can look from that perception, because that is what people perceive themselves as. They perceive the perception, the person. You are not that, but people pretend they are, because it makes it easier to feel like you are someone. Because who are you if you're not someone? What are you? What can you be? How do you be that? How is it possible? How do I get there? How did I get here? Why am I here? Why am I talking like this? Who is this person on camera? How did I get to this video? What the hell is he going to talk about in this video? All he is saying is a bunch of random things. They're not random at all. This is the question that everyone is truly asking themselves. What am I? I can tell you what you're not. I can't tell you what you are. I can trick you into you thinking that I can tell you what you are. I can manipulate you into you believing me and what I say you are, but I really can't tell you what you are, because I only can tell you what you're not, which is really how I manipulate you into being what you are. This is what religion does. Religion tells you that you need to be like this. This is what you have to live by. These are your rules. So you either are these or you're not these, and if you're not these, you better be these, and if you are these, that's who you are. Now put all of those together and you got people that are very psychologically messed up because they're trying to adhere to something that someone wrote down for them to be. When you can't be a word, you cannot be any symbol, any letter or number or squiggly of line or yoga pose that you want to try to put yourself into. You're not a pretzel, you're not a curve, you're not a straight line. You're nothing. You're nothing. But people don't want to hear that. People can't. They cannot fathom. I'm nothing? My life doesn't matter? what I'm doing right now has absolutely no impact on the global infrastructure and what is going to occur in the future because I don't exist. How did I get here? What am I doing here? I'm gonna help people with this. Because a lot of people fall into depression in this state of mind because when you start to realize that I really don't have an impact on what I'm doing right now from how I'm looking at it. How can you have an impact when your perception is from a grounded standpoint looking up? God didn't make the world by being a man. God made the world by being God. By being consciousness. By being out of body. By being unaware of awareness. You can't truly create a new world by standing in the world. It's not possible. You need to think outside of the world, outside of what the world is and what you want to create it into, what you want to make it, how you want to mold it. And this concept, most people need to focus not on the world, but you. How do you determine what you are? Are you allowing someone else to tell you who you are, or are you determining for yourself and creating for yourself who you are by your own ideals and principles and philosophy and thoughts and patterns and rhythms and movements and beats and whatever else you want to use to determine what you decide you are? You can use all of these things, or you can just look around you and see what is around you. That will also tell you what you are. But it's really not what you are. That's the thing. It's just what you are putting together to create the experience that you're in right now. You can either look at it from inside you and throw it out by looking internally and determining what internally you are going to hold on to, or chain yourself to, which may be nothing. Which if you don't chain yourself to some ideal or thought pattern, you won't have anything, which is fine. You can do that. You can be nothing. But then when you are nothing, you instantly want to become something, because then you don't have anything. That's desire. That is the natural flow of what this is, to be consciously unconscious. As soon as you're at a point to where all it is a point and nothing else, then you want something. You may want back what you got rid of. You may want something completely new. It's up to you. But to determine that, you have to really figure out for yourself, what do I desire? What do I want to do? Not what do I want to make the world into. Because that doesn't matter. The world will make itself based on you and what you desire. Because the world molds itself around you, because the world is nothing more than an expression of you. It is a mirror. But people think of a mirror as there's this shiny surface and I look at it and I have a reflection. That's me. That's not you. That is an idea that you have in your head that that's what you should look like. That is not you. Never was you. And you have this idea that I age, which I will get to in a little bit when I talk about growth. You don't age. You only age because you think you age. You only get older because you think you get older. You only stop growing because you think you're not going to grow anymore. Even though you never grew in the first place. You were just there. You were just there. you are nothing, then how do you become something? You need something else to show you what you may be. You need something to block your light, because if you're nothing, you're also everything. So you're just expansive in every direction, and you can't see yourself. So how do you know if you're something or you're nothing? You don't. You really don't, because you can't see yourself when you encompass everything. Which is why no one truly wants to be 100% everything all the time, because that's not there's no experience in that. You can't fulfill your desires in that. It's impossible. So when you are everything, you then decide that I'm gonna block myself off. Building blocks, like you're building something, I'm gonna block myself off here, here, and here with these walls so I can reflect myself, because a block is mirrored, and you build with blocks, it reflects light, whether it's a reflective surface of how we see in this physical reality, water, or whether it's a stone. It still is reflecting light. It's just dependent on how it's being reflected. This is why everything is reflecting light. Everything is reflecting light. There's so many different building blocks. Like, think of like Minecraft type building blocks, where you just have a square, and then you take that square and you make circles out of squares, because your perception got so far out. Now you have these magnificent structures. Like, you can see some crazy stuff that people built in Minecraft that you can't even tell there's a block on it, because when you zoom out, you just see all of it. Now if you zoomed in, all you see is a little part of it, and you see all the blocks, the pixels. Like this phone right here, this has what Apple likes to call the retina display. You can't see a pixel on it, so it's glossing it over. It's really putting you into the experience, because it's got rid of the blocks that build it. You can't see the blocks anymore, so now you're really in the experience. When you can see those pixels, when you can see those blocks, you can see what is actually reflecting light, because that's all that a pixel is. That's all the LEDs do, is they reflect light. Electricity. That's how they change the colors that are in them and everything. And this is how you found out what you want to be, or this is how you first seen yourself, or what you determine is yourself. Is you put a mirror underneath you, and now you can see that you are everything and nothing, because you see that if you're nothing, everything's below you, but then if you're everything, nothing's below you. It's the reflection of the mirror that you put under you, Earth. You got the sun up above in the sky, reflecting down on this black hole that we all stand on, except there's many other reflections going on in that atmosphere, in the air, that are creating this wonderless world that we choose to inhabit, of all these magical different things that seem to come out of the ground, out of nowhere, out of thin air, out of the sky. When you know that you're the sun, then you also know that you have a Mother Earth, because that was the first thing that you seen. When she held you up high, you knew you were the sun and you were everything, and then she is a reflection of you, which she's not you, so she's nothing. Now, most people wouldn't like me saying that. Well, my mother's everything to me. Well, if she's everything to you, then you must be nothing. But it can only go either way. And this is the idea of being a mama's boy, or really stuck to your mom's hip and needing her approval and everything, because you're nothing, so you need her to live. because you're living off of what she is. She's telling you what you are, and you don't know how to tell yourself what you are. So she's everything to you, because without her, you wouldn't know who you are. But the idea of the mother, naturally, is to imbue the child to have the consciousness of everything. To be the sun that is shining on everything. The mother is teaching the child that you don't need me. I'm showing you why you don't need me. This is what the mother does. And some children get it and some don't. Some just follow the mother because they don't see their life as having its own significance, or they don't know how to drive the car. They don't know how to steer on their own. So they follow their mother around their whole life. They need approval from their mother. Mama's boy, you need approval from my parents to marry me. Well, you know that person is not independent or undependent. You know that they depend on their parents, which is usually I'm not gonna get into that. So you got the mother, then you also got the father. You got the mother, the father, and the son. And the father is the other thing that you see when you are first born, or you should. It should be the mother and the father right there, holding the child together. And that child is a combination of the mother and the father. A balanced combination of the mother and the father. They take on both of their ideologies in a balanced way, as in the father is very idealistic and has a very strong individualized personality that they exude. The child, if the mother does not carry that as well, is probably going to fall more in line with the mother's personality, because it's going to balance itself out, because the father is putting out, let's see it in a way of electricity, a lot more energy than the mother is putting out energy. So the child is going to have to take more of the mother's ideology than the father's to balance out the energy, because it's really an energetic balance that you get between the two. And this is how you get determined what you are. This is why so many kids end up being very much like their parents, because their parents aren't aware of what's not really going on here. They're not aware of what death is. They're not okay with death. They feel that they're going to die, and they're not going to be living anymore. They're going to go to hell. They believe something when it comes to death. They believe something and have no idea, because they're covering something up. They're covering something up deep inside that they don't want to talk about. I'm just going all over the place in this video. It's all relevant though. It's all very, very relevant. So, to know who you, or the idea of what you chose to be, because you are it, you are the only one. You were free at a point. You were free to be everywhere. But then you wanted to know yourself. And in wanting to know yourself, you had to start locking yourself down. You had to start blocking yourself in. You had to literally reflect yourself back at yourself with some type of energetic force that's going to manipulate your foreverness, your infiniteness, your ability to be free everywhere, free form, free roam. Just fill everything. There is no container. You made a containment, a vessel, your body, this world, all of this other stuff, all of these other vessels full of spirits, so that all of these, they're energetic frequencies when I really get up to the point. It's all coming out as energetic frequency. And you start changing the waveforms and how they flow so that you can experience yourself and the true infinity that you are. Because you will never experience the same thing twice. Because it's not possible. You are always doing something new because you are infinity. And this is showing you, which people don't realize, that I am infinity. That I can go anywhere, I can do anything, I can create anything, I can manifest anything. Anything I desire, I can make. Just like that. The problem is people truly don't believe or know what they can do. They believe something else. They don't know that they actually are everything. They haven't rationalized or come to terms, balance themselves out mentally, psychologically, that I'm everything. And I accept that. I accept what that is. Oh, damn, there's some vultures eating something on the road. There's 3 vultures. Oh, that was awesome. That's death. Oh, it stinks. Oh, that's death. That's it. That's right there. You got 3 vultures chewing on something in the road on the yellow line. The black road, they're chewing a dead animal on the yellow line. 2 yellow lines. 3 vultures. That think about that. So, back to the topic, which that was on topic. That was no mistake. This is showing you right now. I should have stopped and showed you guys these vultures, but I didn't. Anyways, that's how this works. Because whatever you speak, whatever you exude, whatever you push out of your senses, you will get back. The problem is people are too busy pulling things in through their senses and consuming instead of creating, pushing things out, that they're completely clogged up all of their sensory receptors, their frequency initiators, and their amplifiers have went dead. They can't push anything out. They can't get up to the high amplitude and really change something, like, because you've been consuming too much. Which this has to do with manifestation. This is why people cannot manifest things instantly. It's because you cannot vibrate at the tune that you need to go to be able to just completely change what is occurring in your world. It's too much for most people. It's too much. And I completely understand that. Because you have to accept that I can do this. I can really make anything happen. And at that, when you accept that, then you also have to accept I must be the only one. No one else exists. Everyone else is just another. They're ghosts. They're nothing more than something that I just thought of. Because I wanted to do this, and now everything else is here too. Just so I can do this one thing. Everything else happened. Just because I wanted to eat a steak at a restaurant that cost $40. No, this whole industry exists just because of it. That's crazy, isn't it? I'm not saying to go that it's not something that I desire. I'm just giving that example because most people don't put that on themselves. Like that, how could you? Like, that's a lot of responsibility to take. Because I just wanted to see what it's like to eat this piece of flesh that I didn't want to have to kill the animal because I love animals. I didn't want to have to to do all of these things, I just had this idea, and now here I am. And all of this exists just because of that thought that I had. It could be even simpler than that. Maybe you just wanted to grow a tree from a seed. But for you to do that, you had to have had a tree already that existed that you can get a seed from, that you can grow it. You had to be in a forest, maybe, of those trees, so you can get a seed. You really only need one tree. But to personify the experience, so that it's just not one tree in the middle of nowhere, which is all it really is when you only need one seed, one tree. You carbon copied it in every direction and into infinity, because that is the infiniteness that you truly are. Because as you want to experience one thing, it's going to explode into many different things, because you are still infinite. And you did that. You have to take responsibility for what you did. I wanted to make YouTube videos. So now I want to speak to people. I wanted to record myself on camera and see what I am. So for me to do that, I needed to have people that were able to do that I could watch and get some ideas from, so that I can jump in it and just run off in one direction with it. Now we got YouTube. Now we got Google. I'm sorry, people. I did it. You have to take responsibility that you did everything. You did everything. You're the one that created it all, and you're the one that is going to destroy it all. Because you are the one point that was never there. So, Core, how does this have to do with growth and cellular reproduction and aging and getting old? So all of this fits in, but because you don't grow. It's an illusion. You've never grown. You've only reproduced yourself at a cellular level. Just cell is nothing more than a block. It's a building block. You start with one block, and you keep replicating it into whatever you want to make or experience. And that's why our body is made of cells. It's because it's made of a bunch of building blocks, organisms. And you don't grow because your cells are just always reproducing themselves. Your cells don't grow. They die and recreate themselves. They die and recreate themselves. The reason you get bigger or taller or more muscular or thinner, maybe you shrink, you decay, you get old. You can go both ways with this, because of the ideology that you have, is because the ideology you have. Your cell, when it reproduces, is going to reproduce in a balanced state between what you are or were at that point, because now it's dead. Now you're in between what you just were and what you are attempting to attain, or the experience that you are going towards. You will end up in a sweet spot between those two, wherever the balance is. So when you have the idea that as you get older you're going to die, your cells continually get more decayed. They start aging, falling apart. You start falling apart. Your body starts decaying, because you have the idea that I'm going to decay. If you are really focused on cancer, you're going to keep getting closer and closer to getting cancer, to getting a disease, because you're focused on it. What you're focused on, you're going to keep lessening that area in between where you started and what you're focused on, in a balanced way. Like, so say this is your goal, which it can be a goal that's something you want to experience, or something that you really don't want to experience but you're going to because you're focusing on it. That's your goal. This is where the ball goes. Your cell, your reproduction of light. this is where you started. Well, now you go to this half, now you go to that half, now you go to this half, now you go to this half, and it just keeps getting thinner, 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 thinner. You will never reach your goal. You'll never reach your goal. Because you'll get very close. You'll get very, very close. But you won't get to exactly what it is because you wouldn't exist at that point. If you put the ball in the net, game over. That's why you get a point. Because you're going back to 1. You get 1. When you put the ball in the net, that's it. Game over. That's why there should be a game where all you do, you score once, game over, you win. Now what? Oh, now I gotta make a new goal. Because once you've reached what your goal is, that's it. You're done. You have nothing else to do. That's why you will never reach your goal. You won't. Because your goal will most likely keep changing and morphing and manifesting into different things because you don't want to meet your goal because it will end. That will be it because you are going to literally stand around, which sometimes this happens to people. Well, I wanted to get down to 200 pounds. I did it. Now what? Now what do I do? I don't know. You met your goal. Maybe you should have changed your goal when you started getting close to it. Then you can keep going. This is why you should always overshoot. You should always set the bar high. Way over the top of what you actually desire to experience, because then you could stay in that happy medium a lot longer and experience what that is. Like, if you want to experience what you perceive as a full life of being able to do all kinds of different things and go all types of different places, well, you better not think that you're going to die when you're 100, because you're probably going to die when you're about 70 to 80, and you're not going to get to experience as much as you probably could. Now, if you think, well, I mean, I might live forever. I have no reason I'm going to die, or I'm going to live. I'm going to show everyone that you can live a lot longer than what people think. 100, that's nothing. 555. And you will have a lot more energy to do things throughout that whole time that you want to experience stuff. Until you're done. Until you choose, all right, I've experienced everything that I actually want to, that's it. But you can keep going with it, because you can. This is how people that are older in age, this is how they can stay on top of everything, because they keep wanting to experience things. They don't stop. Once you stop, that's it. Once you decide you're done, you're done. Once you've met your goal and you decide that your life is over, that's it. It's just that most people are doing it in a societal belief of what it should be, which is making you miss what you truly are and what you truly can be and what you can truly do, because you have a belief in a civilization that is holding you captive when you are not that civilization. You are not the body, you are not the name, you are not the person. You are whatever you choose to be at the moment, which you're none of that, even. And this is why we're always just reproducing ourselves. This is why a snake sheds its skin, because the skin doesn't grow. You don't grow. Your shell doesn't grow. This is why a crab goes into a new shell. Your skin doesn't even grow. You shed your skin. Your skin sheds off. You just don't realize it because of how it does it. doesn't come off in one piece. It's individual cells, because a snake is like looking at a little square house that you made with just like, 20 bricks across, 30 bricks across, 20 up, whatever structure in Minecraft. You just built a bunch of Legos, but it's a square structure and you couldn't get it because of how zoomed in and how big you can see the pieces per your perception. It's really blocky. That's why a snake skin comes off in one piece, because it's more like a snake's whole skin that it sheds is one of your cells. One of your cells is like a snake. That's why you don't know that you are shedding your skin, because you have so many things that are occurring within this technological vessel that is created so that you can experience things in a way that nothing else can. Yet you're missing it because you can't feel it any longer. And what else was I gotta get into? Growth. I think I hit on pretty much everything there. You can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You just have to take responsibility of everything, so that you can do everything. How can you do everything if you don't take responsibility that you did everything? You can't. If there's anything that doesn't make sense in this, let me know. Or not doesn't make sense, that you would like me to go into more detail on. Because I ran through a bunch of different ideas here and strung them all together. And there's definitely a lot of things that could be gone into greater detail. So if there's anything that you would like me to go into greater detail on, let me know. Myself.